What's up, everybody? It's your boy Main here with a quick weekend update. Sorry I didn't get a video out yesterday. So, am I the only person who missed Aster? It seems like every single person I know, even some of the worst people on all of crypto Twitter, are up 7 to 8 figures. So, you know the meme. So happy for you. Congratulations. Except for I'm not. I want to make the money. I should be making the money. I shouldn't be missing the plays. But it is what it is, guys. I hold nothing. I'm completely sidelined and coping. But if you did make some money, make sure you realize some of those profits. I know no one wants to hear that. But if you're up generational money, I'm seeing people up a lot on the timeline. Always make sure to change your life if you make life-changing money. With that being said, the poor plebs like you and me who are sidelined on Aster, we got to figure out what's going on in the broader market. So let's talk about Bitcoin. Let's talk about the state of crypto here. So I did it again. I nailed it, right? Call me Britney Spears or whatever. Or is that Christina Aguilera? It doesn't matter. So we came into this weekly order block, as you guys know, right? And I said, hey, if we reclaim this range low at 112, we trade to 117. And lo and behold, that's exactly what happened here, right? So if you go down to the lower time frames, there was an SFP down at the lows here. You had your retest of the bullish order block. You had multiple opportunities. You had the over-under right on this 2024 all-time high level, which we said is a very important level of support. And then we also had the reclaim of the range low, and boom, straight line up to weekly mid-range, right? This is the mid-range of that weekly. There's the upper range. This is the lower range. So reclaim the low, target the mid. Hold above the mid, we could potentially target the high. But for now, level to level, mate, we're at the mid-range, right? We did just barely, on this chart, tag the daily breaker. And I posted this on Telegram and in the Haven. I said, technically, I still think that we're going to push higher, right? So let's just simplify what I'm saying here. I think even if unless we break down below this, right? Like unless technically we've had a change in state of delivery here. Like we could technically come down here, but I think that there's still a higher likelihood that we trade up to here. So that's what I'm looking for. I'm not in a trade. Technically, we put in an H12 sweep here, and then if you zoom in, we had the whole shebang on the low time frame, right? We had the breaker block. There's your H1 MSB. There's your retest, and this thing just rolled the fuck over. So I don't think that this is the top, okay? I do think that we get another push higher still, so I'm still sticking with my plan that I want to potentially short, but not here. This isn't where I think that short forms. I would rather take the trade up here and then look for that to move back down into there, maybe even down into here. We don't know yet. But that's still my framework. That is still the plan that I'm looking for to develop over the coming days. I do not think that this price action is super organic. All the shit we're seeing with some altcoins, look at Aster. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if we get something like this, then a rug, then the next leg higher. So that's what I'm looking for on Bitcoin. Hasn't really changed since the video on Wednesday. That's why I didn't really post anything yesterday, because I was like, there's not really much to update here, right? The problem with doing these videos 3 times a week, really quick and compact, is sometimes there's nothing to share. Low time frame, what are we looking at? In theory, okay, in theory, you could argue that we've taken out a level of internal range liquidity right here. Okay, we've taken out that swing high, and we've now broken below, right, the candle here that caused us to push that up. All right, so technically, as long as we're below this red line, the H12 is bearish. So you could look and say, okay, well, maybe we've got like this liquidity building up here. Like maybe we're going to get some sort of rollover from here. That's completely possible. If we roll over from here before trading up to that fair value gap that I mentioned, that's slightly off screen right now. If we roll over from here, I'd actually look for longs down here, back up towards that fair value gap. So short term, in between that high time frame weekly H12 setup that I'm looking at, this is something that could potentially play out. But what the bulls, and conversely, if we're able to reclaim this level here, That flips the H12 back to bullish. I think you could then take longs targeting that kind of 120, 121 area. So that's kind of what I'm looking at short term. I think this red level here is super key. If you're bullish up into here, I think above here, this becomes your deviation. You could long this with a stop there, up into there. Or if we roll over from here, then I'm looking back towards the range lows for some sort of long to form. Ultimately, I do think this level gets tagged. I do think it gets mitigated. The question is, do we go down first or up first? And this will be your low time frame bias level to determine that. If we can get above here, I think there's a pretty high likelihood that early in the week we trade up into here. And then that's where I'd be looking to take that mechanical short, because even though I don't think the top is in, I cannot ignore this short signal. I got to take it. And then we decide what happens from there. My invalidation is super clear. So if we go up here, that's the short. If we go up here and we keep going up, guess what? I'm stopped out on the short, but my thesis that we still have one more leg in this market, hence why I'm not selling all of my spot yet, and I still think we can go up, that becomes a reality, and I lost a little money on the short. Either way, I'm not really concerned, okay? We're perfectly hedged that way on Twitter. I can say no matter what happens, I was right and you were wrong, and I never lose money because I have a 100% hit rate, and I'm really smart and handsome, okay? So that's all I got. I don't want to take up too much time here. I know it's the weekend, so game plan there. Pretty straightforward. Bitcoin dominance is the only thing that's kind of eluded me. Like, it kind of looks like this might roll over again. And if that's the case, rally into the end of the week here is probably likely. Well, then great. We have a plan. If Bitcoin dominance rolls over and we get a rally into the end of the week, that's the short-term trade, at least on Bitcoin. So if Bitcoin is able to reclaim this level, does that mean you have to long only Bitcoin? Maybe this RR is not very good. You want to long something with more juice. The key lesson here is, right, when Bitcoin was here, I said, hey, Bitcoin is going to bounce here. And I think if it can get above here, it goes up to here. So this is a pretty big move on Bitcoin, right? This was a 10% move. Pump fund went up 300% in that time. So if you believe that Bitcoin's at a level of support, Bitcoin's putting in a long setup, and you want to find a higher beta play, that is the most optimal time to now go down the risk curve and look at your alts, right? Solana pumped really hard. Pump fund pumped really hard. ETH had a big run during this period of time. You don't have, so when I'm giving you this analysis and you go, oh man, it's only Bitcoin though, like, why aren't you showing me fucking altcoin XYZ that I like, that, you know, is on some fucking Chinese exchange that you can only access if you're an active member of the Communist Party of China? I don't trade those coins. I trade Bitcoin primarily, and ETH and Solana and maybe a few others, but I don't go that deep down the risk curve. It doesn't mean that this analysis is not useful. If I'm giving you the levels where Bitcoin should bounce or it should sell off, and I'm giving you setups on Bitcoin, ETH, and Sol, when those long setups form on one of those three coins, that's going to be the most optimal time for you to go look at that coin and say, okay, well, Bitcoin's at support, ETH is at support, Sol is at support, Main thinks they're going to go up. I want to long this coin. Oh, it's also at support. Now you have confluence, right? Now you have a way higher probability of your trade working out because the majors are bullish, right? So if Bitcoin is going to bounce and you want to long some altcoin and that altcoin's at support at the same time as Bitcoin, you've now found yourself an A+ setup. Okay, so I'm doing more for you than you even realize. I'm doing so much for you, but I do it in an indirect, subversive way. You don't even know that I'm quite literally feeding you on a platter the most optimal time to long your shit coins, okay? That's how good I am at helping you. I'm helping you in ways that you don't even realize you need, okay? Anyways, that's all I got. Enjoy your Saturday. I love you guys as always. If you want to support your boy, all my bullshit is in the description. Breakoutprop.com. Check it out. We're backed by Kraken. Use code MAIN for a discount, okay? The Haven is down there. All my ref links are down there. IMG Pro, the fucking indicator thing, that discount code, I think, what is it? I forget. I've already forgotten the fucking the code. IMG 10, 10% off. IMG 20 for life gets you 20% off on annual plans. So if you want the IMG indicator, I told you guys I would go over the IMG indicator in a video. I will make I have a video on my channel about it already. I'll make another one as a refresher sometime this week because I lied to you and I'm sorry I don't like doing that. Anyways, love you guys. Have a great weekend. Goodbye. Where's my mouse? I'm still here. Okay, bye.